Hello, I'm Jacob, aka Entendre, and today I'm going to review Steve Duda's plugin Serum, which is an amazing plugin. I highly recommend it to anyone who's into synthesis. Well worth the money. Definitely in my top 3 synths that I've ever used. So let's just delve right into it. First off, we have 2 main oscillators and there's a sub oscillator, and then we have a noise generator. And then down here we have 3 different envelopes. We have 4 different modulation. Well, we have the mod wheel, and then we have 4 different macros, and then we have 4 different LFOs, a velocity control, and the notes. So these are all for modulation of different types. And then we have the filters, and there's quite a wide array of filters to select from. And then we have the voicing and pitch bend and modulation keyboard section, as you'd expect. And you can actually hide the piano if you want. I find it useful, so I leave it. So I'll just run through a few different plugins to give you an idea, and then I'll just go from there. So start off, we'll just sample some of the preset. We'll go with a bass. Another bass. It's a Wavetable synthesizer, which is it's a very unique kind of sound because it's showing different frames here, and you can get this 3D view. I really like how visual Serum is. You can actually see it. You can see it sweeping through the sound. So you can go into edit mode here. You can see there's only 2 individual frames, but then it morphs in between them, and you can actually create your own wavetables. So one of the main, most popular wavetable synthesizers is Massive, although with Massive you can't really create your own as a user. So this is an amazing addition to the synthesizer realm. So I'm going to go into some of the effects here. Some leads. We'll go into some miscellaneous sounds. Some pads. Another cool thing about Serum is it's got this sample browser here, so you can go in here and find things by searching or going to certain categories. You can rate your favorite presets, so that's a cool little feature there. Let's see. So yeah, with Serum you really don't need that many oscillators because you can do so much with the ones that are there. You have this warp mode, so you can do a lot with that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But you got these plucked sounds. Some sequence sounds. Some cool synth sounds. So you can see there's a great set of sounds that come with it, factory presets, and then you can easily save your own. I've saved quite a few already. So here's one of mine. Just for fun. So now I'm going to go into initializing a preset and making something from scratch, just so you can see how easy and fun it is. So I'm going to go in here and just pick a wavetable. I downloaded this free pack from Seven Skies, who contributed some to the factory wavetables. But I'm just going to choose one of the factory ones, so I'll go for a digital. So then this is the wavetable knob here, so this is how you sweep through the sound. And if I click on this, I can switch into that 3D view. And if I go into the editor mode here, you can see exactly what's going on in there. And then you have various options here, so I could crossfade the edges, just kind of smooths it out. The cool thing is you can drag any kind of sound into Serum. So say I didn't want to use this wavetable, I could just, let's just go back to, well, I'm going to go to my sample library and just grab any sound. I'll just grab I want something short. Alright, so these are a bunch of sounds I make when I'm doing sound design. Let's see. Just gonna find something nice and alright, we'll try that. So there's different import modes, so I'm just gonna go for this third one here. You can experiment to see what works best. So a lot of times when you first import something, it can be kind of rough, but if you go in here and you edit and you crossfade it, that can help some. And then if I go in here and I morph it, see right now there is about 115 frames and Serum goes up to 256. So if I morph it, then it'll add interpolated frames in between to smooth it out. So now I'm going to throw an LFO onto the wavetable position, and I'm going to drag that up. So it's really easy, I just clicked and dragged there. So you can see it's sweeping through now. And that's pretty cool. I mean, I could work with that. If I go in here to the options, I can process it. Let's see. I'm going to do 0 all phases. So what that's going to do is bring everything over so that all the phases start going up and then down. Just kind of simplifies the sound a little bit. And then I'm going to do this redux again. You can even use these formulas down here, and some of them are good for processing. You can type in your own mathematical formulas, but I'm just going to use one of the factory formulas, process it. Squarify is what that does. And now I'm going to maximize each frame, normalize each grain separately. So I've taken that sound and completely transformed it already. Alright, so now if I right click in here and I go to, see by default if you hold shift it will draw in flat lines. If I right click and I say ramp up, now if I hold shift it'll do that at the grid size, which you can change here. So now if I hold shift and drag it will do the quicker. So let's see what that sounds like. A little crazy. So what I'm going to do is reduce the amount. It's getting better. And then if I turn on this other oscillator, I can go in here and choose basic shapes. I'm going to use this sine wave. And for the warp mode here, I'm going to choose FM from B. I'm going to turn this up a little bit and turn the volume down on B. So now it's essentially an FM synth. This sound is being modulated by this sine wave, the pitch of it, so it's going to give it more of a metallic sound. So then I can go over here to LFO-B and drag that onto here. And if I turn this filter on, I can get this envelope number 2 and put that on the filter. I can drag this down so it creates kind of a plucky sound. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to choose another sound. I'm going to choose this French French low pass. So that's cool, and then I could go in here to the effects and turn on some effects like you can actually drag and drop the order of the effects, which is really cool. Some cool delay stuff going on. So if I go to this tap delay, it's an unusual delay where the left side is no longer left. It's indicating how long it's going to pause before the delay starts. So 1/4 of a beat or a bar, and then it's going to start at 32s. Pretty cool. And then we got compression, and I like that because there's this multi-band mode too, which is like an expander. And then over here in the matrix area, you can actually do more advanced edits of your assignments of your LFOs and your envelopes and whatnot. And you can actually select some things here that aren't normally available by right-clicking, such as these chaos oscillators, which you can find under global. Now these have 2 different algorithms that are pretty interesting. So I could assign this to, say, the pitch and get some weird stuff going on. The master tuning, I'm just going to have it real subtle. So you can get some really interesting things going on with that. And let's see, so I'll show you what the other one sounds like. Oh, I'll make it really extreme for a second so you can see exactly what that's doing. So we're going to try the other algorithm. Pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, that brings me to this global section where obviously there's these chaos envelope or LFOs, and you can sync them to the BPM. You got the mono option, which I forget what that does, but the manual is right here, which is pretty handy. Under menu, you can go to read the manual, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. And one thing I learned in there that I haven't seen in any other tutorials is if you drag with the mouse to the side like this while holding command, you can select all your points like that, and then you can let go and just drag one and it will move them over like so in a very kind of strange, almost exponential way. So yeah, have fun with that. And then down here you have some really unusual unison settings. So this is like how much it will bend the sound. So if I give this multiple voices, I'm going to give this 7 voices. If I turn the detune up all the way, it's going to go pitch bend 2. But if I increase this up to 48, now it's going to be really extreme. Now this is the width, so by default it's at 100%, but that's just like the more you turn up the detune, the more the width is going to be spread. And you can change this blend mode too, so the center one will be louder and the one on the sides will be softer. Or under global we have the warp, so it'll actually change where it starts in the wavetable. Or no, it changes the warp mode, so that was doing the FM. And then this would change the wavetable position of the different unison. You can change the stacking method too, which gets some interesting harmonic results. So if I bring that down, let's turn off this delay so you can really hear it. And then you have these different spread modes. So there's linear, which does them even, or there's super, so you can see what this does. If you click on the detune, it's spreading them in a less even way. There's the exponential, which does as the name would sound, spreads them out more exponentially. You got the inverted, so the one on the sides are actually more intense than the ones in the middle. And then you have the random, so that's like that. So I just dragged this LFO1 onto the filter for fun. Now if you hold Alt, you can snap these to the grid, these points. You can just double click to create a new point, which is cool. So it's really easy to make cool patterns, and then you can save them down here. You can also save your own wave shapes, and you can put them in your own user folder. And so yeah, it's an amazingly powerful synth, and that's all I'm going to go into right now, but expect more videos to come. Actually, one more thing, the sub oscillator, you can route it directly out, so that's a cool thing that you don't see often. So it would bypass all the effects, so you can really maintain your sub bass. And then you have the noise oscillator, with a lot of cool sounds, and you can actually, if you drag your own sounds into the custom folder, you can just load any WAV file in here and have it play almost like a sampler. So it's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I hope you learned something from that, and you'll be hearing from me soon. Take it easy.